Hi people. Today we will discuss the issue that has been bugging us for the past year, Ty's disappearance from the Heartland. Whenever the main character leaves a show, it leaves us with a bad taste in the mouth. As the audience, we would like to see them in the show up until the very end and have a happy ending, if possible. The reason why is the fact that we would feel as if our years-long investment in the character finally pays off. However, if he or she leaves the show suddenly through a surprising incident, it feels like a betrayal to us for the most part, which is exactly what we felt when Ty left Heartland. Ty, played by Graham Wardle, was a central part of Heartland as he was in the show from the very first episode of the series that was released back in 2007. Ty was coming from a problematic family. His father was gone from the very beginning, and her mother was married to his abusive stepfather. The man was abusive not only towards Ty but also towards his father. At one point, Ty had had enough and went against him to protect his mother. Unfortunately, his mother didn't stand up for him, and Ty had to leave his home. The difficult process led him to the Heartland Ranch, where he met Jack, who recently lost his daughter. The entire Heartland family was in mourning, but this didn't stop them from welcoming Ty with open arms. Jack provided a place to stay for Ty, as well as a position in the ranch as a stable boy. This was way more than Ty expected, and he remained grateful for the family for the rest of his life. As a bonus, he met Amy, his one true love. Both were just teenagers when they met and experienced love for the first time in their lives. In other words, for a couple of years, we have watched a coming-of-age story through the lives of Amy and Ty, both of whom were great, hard-working, and kind people who are trying to figure out how they feel about each other. Even though it took a few more years for them to be in an official relationship, once they figured things out, their bond was unbreakable. They were a great team together. They were supportive toward each other, they were respectful toward each other, and most importantly, they were always there for each other. Their love was both dreamy and realistic at the same time. At times, we were feeling as if we were watching something out of this world, as their romance was fairy tale-like. However, there was also nothing that made us question their sincerity, making the relationship very real. They were true to one another and not afraid of experiencing unhappiness sometimes as well, just like in real life. After their marriage, they had a lovely daughter named Lindy. She has become the sunshine of the couple's life, as they couldn't wait to raise her together. Things went amazing for 4 short years, as we, as the fans, were getting used to seeing Amy, Ty, and Lindy as inseparable and couldn't get enough of them. Unfortunately, all these came to an end at the least expected moment, as Graham Wardle, who was playing the part of Ty, decided to leave the show. Wardle was in the show for almost 14 years at that point. He grew up on screen, and Heartland was one of his first projects as an actor. Naturally, it's understandable for him to change his mind on the way and wonder what else he can do in life. This is exactly what happened with Wardle, as he expressed that he wants to explore other areas of the entertainment sector as well. Even though his desire to move on with his life, rather than being stuck at the same project for decades, is reasonable, his decision came very suddenly for us, as Ty and Amy were finally living true happiness together. That being said, we aren't sure if there was any time that would be okay for Wardle to leave the show. We feel like any time would have been sudden, as thinking a Heartland without Ty was impossible for many. In Wardle's defense, he let the showrunners and his fellow actors know about his intentions 2 years before leaving the show. In other words, even if the news was shocking for the fans, for his colleagues, this was an inevitable end. As expected, millions were outraged with the announcement and refused to believe that this is true. Many stopped watching the show in protest, as they decided Heartland without Ty isn't worth watching. Wardle didn't mind the backlash and remained loyal to his decision. To this day, he ignored fans' constant demands for his return to the show and tried his luck in other sectors. He has a podcast, which seems to be doing pretty well so far. He even hosts some guests in the podcast, including familiar names such as Jessica Amley, who was playing Mallory Wells in Heartland. He is also pretty active on social media, especially on Instagram. Some of his views, however, cause even further backlash, as he is anti-vaccine and pretty vocal about his ideas on the issue. Regardless, one thing is clear: Graham Wardle closed the chapter of Heartland in his life and doesn't plan to return to the show anytime soon. While some questioned whether he was unhappy in the set or had some problems with the showrunners or the actors and thus had come up with the idea of leaving the show, it seems like the only reason behind this departure was his desire to try new things. We know that it's not an easy task to acknowledge Ty's absence from the show, even after a year of his passing, but still, we feel like we owe respect to Wardle's decision. What do you think of Wardle's leaving of Heartland? Do you think he made the right decision for his career and the show? Do you think Heartland needs Ty to remain as a relevant show and keep its fandom together? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching. See you soon.